Well, today's been a day, and it's a better day than the days I've had here in the recent past. As you can see, the sun's starting to go down. It's been overcast. It threatened rain. Yeah, at 85 degrees. But it's still a better day than I've had in the recent past. And I'll take it. Because, especially now in my older age, in the course of events that have most recently happened, have reminded me once again that every day you're up and out and about is a better day than some you may have. Oh, I think I'll just sit out here and watch the sun go down. I haven't done that in about a week or two, and I enjoy the simpler things in life now more than you know. Oh, well, hello there, friends and family. I didn't see you walk up on me. But hey, I'm so glad you could stop on by and spend a little time with old Mr. Tom. And hey, if you want to, grab a chair, cold drink and snack, pull it on up here in the yard, and let's sit and chat a while. If you want to. I sure would appreciate it. I love spending time with all of you. So yeah, today being Sunday, and now my second day at home after my hospital stay, trying to build up my strength and get over my aches and pains. I think that's going to take a while, because I beat myself up pretty bad. And part of that was my fault, but part of it was not. And if you watched the previous video, you'll know I had a weird event happen. And I didn't trip and I didn't fall. I just collapsed. I lost all body control of my bowels, my bladder, all my muscles. My vision was affected, and so was my speech. And because of that, I did fall and collapsed on the floor in my bathroom, which during the course of that, slammed into the tub, the sink, toilet. And it probably wouldn't have been near as bad as it was if I wouldn't have kept trying to get myself up when I still didn't have control of my limbs. Even, to the point where one of my attempts to pull myself back up, I flipped myself over in the tub upside down on my back and my head. Looking back at it, it's rather humorous. At the time, it was terrifying. Staring up at my pants around my ankles, all covered in what. Yeah. And yes, I do live alone. Nothing that happened that particular evening could have been prevented had someone else been here with me. Yeah, they could have called emergency services for me, got me back up, But I'll say this. I did finally get myself back up once I gave myself the time to get orientated and let somewhat control of my limbs, my legs, my arms, my hands, my feet, my eyes come back to me. And I pulled myself up out of that tub and got back up on the toilet seat. And to me, that was a monumental achievement. You might not think so. And I know it all sounds pretty gross, and it was. But at my lowest point during that time, I still didn't feel alone. Because as I was there upside down, staring into my pants around my ankles and into the bathroom ceiling, I knew my Father, God, was with me. Yes, I do. And I won't lie. I told him I needed his help. And I truly believe he answered my prayer. Because I don't see how. Considering in the shape I was in, and I don't actually remember how I could pull myself out of that tub and get back on my feet. I'm so glad he was with me to help stand me up, sit me back down, and help me regain control. Maybe you've had an experience like that too, that you can testify about. 'Cause I can definitely testify. Yep, it was with his help. But today, I just wanted to get up, have a nice little breakfast. You know, maybe some of those eggs, some sausage, a little bit of toast, and a fine cup of coffee. See, I haven't had coffee since, last Sunday. So I was really craving a couple of cups of good Joe. So I made up a pot. And my plan was to stay in my PJs, and I was going to take that coffee. I was going to sit down at my desk where my computer is, and I was going to start going through the comments. Not of the video I just put out, but of the previous one, you know, that has resonated with all of you. And I was going to get through all of them and start on this one that I put out yesterday. Because I really hate it when I get behind on the comments. And I'm not, able to thank people for the super thanks, their donations, but just their comments too. Giving them a heart, a thumbs up. Answering questions when I can. Some questions I'm never going to answer. And interacting, as always, no matter what kind of video I put up. Yep, there's always going to be those turds in the punch bowl. And that's true for the last two videos. Yep. I wouldn't want to drink the punch on either one of them. But overwhelmingly, the thumbs up always outweigh the thumbs down. And I'm appreciative of that, because that's because of all of you. My friends and family out there that care for me, enjoy the videos and the content, because it's all about real life. It's what I'm going through in my life at the time I pick up this camera and call out to all of you. Over the years, many of you have been with me a long, long time. I've grown to know you also through the comments in the video. The things that have happened in your life, the losses, your successes, just what you're doing. I love reading about what you're doing. I'm a big gardener, but this year, last year, and part of the year before, that just wasn't in the plan. I did a little bit. I did a little bit this year, but it didn't go as planned. Didn't work out. But I set goals for myself this year. Get rid of that old focus. Get this property started whipping in shape. And that's in progress. And of course, declutter my house. And if you watched yesterday's video, you'll see as we backed out of the driveway and went taking off, you will see, and that was only part of what was there, that we have cleared out of the house. That was primarily out of my son's bedroom, because when he decided to leave and go live with his girlfriend, he didn't know how it would work out. He just took some clothes, moved, and of course never came back. And just left it how it was. And that was, back in 2018. So finally, during the course of me being in the hospital and him being down here, taking care of the house, spending time with me over at the hospital, and that, he cleared out his room, which allowed us to start clearing out other rooms in the house, sorting through the things I want to keep, the things I do not, the things I want to keep, or at least ponder on, we're putting in his room. because it was totally emptied out and cleaned up for the first time since 2018, because I left it as he left it. Because I repeatedly over these years have asked him, please, come out and clean up your room. Or one day I will. And there were things in there I knew he'd want to keep. So I left it up to him. I was in no rush. But now, I want to get this done. I put it in the plan. And if nothing more, I may not be able to fix a thing in this house. I want it to be decluttered and minimalistic again. I feel good now, especially. He cleared out 90% of the living room. It looks so much better. Now I can see what I need to do. And we're going to have to go in that living room and replace the floor, the subfloor, and all of that. Because it's old, and it wasn't built with the best materials back in 1940. The prior owner of this home built it himself with his own 2 hands, with hand saws, tape measure, one of those folding up ones, the ones that unfold like that, and a string, and I forget what they were. You tie on the end of it, plumb box, and a level. That's all he had. And he built the first section of this house, which now comprises my bedroom, which is small. You wouldn't call it a master by any stretch of the imagination. The living room, the bathroom, was my daughter's room, and what is now the dining room, which used to be the kitchen. And that was it. When he would return back from the war in 1945, he would add on. And he added on what is now my kitchen and what is now my son's room. And actually, my laundry room was the back porch at one time. Yeah. And then I think it was in 1965 or 66, they decided to put on the den. And then a whole new roof was put over. Every time he added on, he had to add on to the roof and connect it to the original roof. And you can actually see that whole process going on up in the attic. Yeah. So the house had 2 additions to it to where it's at now. But he just did it with what he could afford and got her done. It's a well-built house in many ways, and in some ways not so much. And it's brought up 2 families. I can say that. It brought up his. In fact, and this might seem a little gory, and he died here in the house. And shortly before I came to Tallahassee, she died here in this house. She was in her 80s. Not sure how old Mr. Carlisle was when he passed. So yeah, there's that. And then when I arrived here to take the job at Neptune, this was the only house available to rent. In fact, the day I got here and was looking for places to rent, so I wouldn't have to drive, because my particular job really I need to be close to the plant because I'm always on call. That was just part of my job and what I did, being the head engineer and all of that. It's my responsibility when something went down. So they were having an estate sale here, and I actually toured the little home, but it was hard to see anything because it was all full in the center of each room of Mr. and Mrs. Carlisle's possessions. But I knew it would be up for rent, and my company, Neptune, put me up in Embassy Suites in Montgomery, Alabama, which is, depending on the day, to the plant here in Tallahassee. On a good day, 30 minutes. On a bad day, 45 minutes to an hour. And I was there for one solid month before this house was all cleared out, cleaned up, refreshed, and ready to rent. And I already had it locked down because, like I say, at the time, that was the only house here. There were no apartments. Pretty much every apartment in Tallahassee is low income. And I didn't qualify. It wouldn't have mattered because they're all full. So I would have had to wound up living in Montgomery or Auburn, which would have meant a commute of anywhere from 40 to an hour each way, depending on how traffic went. So the company required me to be here. They wanted to help me buy a house. I didn't want to buy a house because I didn't know how long I'd be. In fact, if you would have asked me then how long I would have been here and told me I would have been here, oh, now what is it, 30 years? I told you, you were out of your mind. Because normally, in what I did, I would come to a plant and my job would be finished and I would move on in 3 to 4 to no longer than 5 years. And I enjoyed that. I basically took on jobs to help plants modernize, increase efficiencies, lower costs, and of course maximize profits. That was my niche engineering specialty, you might say. And they said I was rather good at it. I had a lot of demand. And in all truth, even at the tender age of 69, I still get emails offering me positions all over the U.S. Yeah, and I just wish I was in better shape that I could take one, because I probably would. Yep. But I was so proud of James, clearing everything out. Plus he started the cleaning process, because you know, with everything so junked up, how that gets. And he did an amazing job. We're not finished by a long shot. And then my daughter Ashley, God bless her sweet soul, I know what that bathroom looked like when they hauled me out of there. Now, I got a couple pictures, but they're too graphic to put on YouTube. I've showed them to some very close friends, family members, but I'm sorry, I won't put them on YouTube. Yeah, buddy, nasty ain't the word for it. And I'm not into all that. I mean, a lot of people are. I'm sure it gets a lot of clicks and views. But as all of you know that have been with me so long, Mr. Tom ain't about clicks and views. He's just about doing what he does. How he does it, what he experiences, that's all he's got. But, you know, my core neighborhood, all my neighbors, that's what they seem to like. And it's not that I do it for any other reason. And that's just who I am. You know, I do my cooking. I'm sure I'll get back to some gardening when we start working on the house. You know, if you'd like to see that, just let me know. And we'll try to, you know, video some of that too. Because it'll be what we're doing. Probably won't video at all, you know, but because it won't be about, you know, this is how to do it. It's just going to be about, this is how we're doing it. Maybe right or wrong. But being an engineer, I think I'll be pretty close. Because in the past years of my life, I've owned many homes. And then starting out, they weren't so great. And me and the wife, we would move in them. We'd stay in one room. And we would tear out what we needed to, fix up what we had to, repaint, whatever it took to make the house nice again, presentable, and livable too. If you ever done it, tried to live in a home and remodel it too, then you know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's a whole different way of life. Living in a construction zone. When you're young, it don't matter. You get through it. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take one room at a time. You know, when I can, health-wise and money-wise. Those two, and time-wise. Those three things are going to dictate what we do. And I'm going to make a list based on the most pressing to the least. I'm not so worried about the cosmetics, the structural deficiencies, the mechanical deficiencies, such as electrical, plumbing. Those things will all be addressed before we worry about prettying it up, because that's the way it should be. So that's the plan. But here again, getting everything out, clearing all the rooms so that can progress is the number one priority this year. And of course now, because of what happened this past Monday, I got more doctor's appointments, wouldn't you know? But that's okay. Because you know why? I'm here to go. It could have been all wrong. And then I wouldn't have been. Or I could have been, depending what was the root cause, which we still don't know, flat on my back in a hospital bed for the rest of my life. Especially with something that possibly can be a neurological disorder. Because it's just not anything that causes a sudden loss of motor control, bodily functions, vision, speech, and what have you. No, that's why I'm looking through the diagnosis they made. Because actually 5 different things that in combination or singularly could have been responsible. And I've still got to, get with my primary physician and get him to refer me to a neurologist so I can get an MRI. Because even though they said I didn't have an aneurysm, I didn't have a stroke, I didn't have a seizure, a CT scan, yeah, anything big, it'll catch. But if you read up on it, there's small ones, small aneurysms, small tumors, such of all that could have been the cause, that only an MRI can catch. So I'm going to get that done. I wasn't dehydrated. Somebody brought that up. Oh, and I've been asked that before. I constantly have a drink near me. I definitely drink enough fluids. And I take electrolytes. And I eat fairly well. I'll cook. I'm not always eating processed foods or freezer treats. Trust me, I'm not. Are you hearing those cicadas? That's another reason I love the Twilight. Do y'all have cicadas where you live? Some people find them annoying. I find their song delightful. And with every year I get older, I appreciate them more. You'll never experience a more beautiful time than to go deep in the woods and let the sun go down and sit there and watch twilight come in. Because they'll start their song, as well as the other critters too. You'll start to hear the hoot of the owl, the coo of the dove. You'll hear the turkeys rustling in, the tree branches. Yeah, turkeys roost in the trees. Did you know that? You'll hear a lot going on that in our modern day lives we don't hear no more. And since I do live on the edge of town, this is very last street before you go deep country, yeah, I can still sit here on my front porch and enjoy the sounds too. I'm just, less than 100 yards from that big woods that covers thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of acres and just continues on. Yeah, that we've all walked in past videos. And I got old Fluffy right here at my feet. You want to see Fluffy? Fluffy, you my buddy. You watching out for Papa? Yes, you are. You're beautiful today. You're a beautiful kitty. You need to start getting along with Spooky and Cleo better. You know, I know you're the boss, but they ain't loving it. No, they're not. Yeah, they're still having a pecking order problem. And we're trying to work that out. And I hope we can. But, yeah, my plan was to go through all day long I was going to do comments. Take a lunch break, make me up a nice bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich with a few potato chips, because that's something else. With each one of these events that I've had, you know, the fall in 2022, the cancer, 23 and 24, and now this, I'm going to enjoy a few chips every now and then if I want to. Yeah, I might even enjoy some cookies again. Because life, at our age, isn't getting longer. It's getting shorter by the day. And like I've always said, we don't know when our last day is, because there's only one that does. When it's our time to come home. And I know he's right here with not only me today, but he's right there with all of you. The Father and the Son. But of course, you gotta want them in your lives. Yes, you do. And if that's not your thing, not your belief or your faith, peace. I believe everybody's got the right to choose. I don't need everybody to be like me. I think, you know, that's one of the last freedoms everybody has. Choose what you wish to believe in and your faith, as long as it harms none. That's always been my caveat since I was young. Yep. You know, if people, before they did anything, would ask that one question, is the decision I make and what I'm about to do, regardless of what it is in life, who will it harm? Will it harm anyone? Things might be a lot better on this earth, just saying. Because it's a rough world we live in now. Yeah. And I've got to where I don't even want to hear or read the news. I just try to stay to what's on my little half-acre of ground in my little community. Because in the end, that's about all I can impact. I'm doing good just to take care of my own business, let alone affect any global change. I hope you come out and sit on your porch or your back steps, or just throw out a lawn chair in the yard. Grab you a cold drink, a snack. Maybe put you out one of them citronella candles, because you're in the South. Yep. The mosquitoes will be loving you. And watch the sun go down. And listen to the song of the Twilight as that old Mr. Sun fades away for another day. Yep, I just wanted to come out and touch base with all of you, and of course ramble on. So hey, I got to rustle up some grub, and I'm actually feeling good enough to do a little bit of cooking. I think I'm going to steam some vegetables because my insides are still all beat up. Yes, they are. I'm thinking about steaming some potatoes, carrots, broccoli, maybe some sweet green peas, put it all together, season it up, put it in my steamer, make me up some rice. It's easy enough. I showed you how to do it. And just have me a simple meal tonight. And I'm going to enjoy every single bite of it. And I hope you do too. Maybe I'll bring you along and share some of it with you. So like I said, until I, the kitty crew, Cleo, Spooky, Mr. Fluffy Muffin, which is now out laying in the walk, and the little princess of the house, Gracie, see you on that next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. Y'all take care. Stay safe out there. May God bless you all as you have blessed those in your lives. We love you for stopping by and everything you do to make our life better too. And I do hope in some small way our video and episodes of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood bring a little joy in your life as well. So with all that said, I bid you adieu. Good night and goodbye. I think I'm going to get a little bit of green tea, Fluffy. You want some? And we'll just wait till the sun goes all the way down. And we're going to ponder life and be thankful for every little thing that we have and will have in the years ahead. Later, all.